Hey guys, this is Adrian Boycell and welcome back to another video. I wanted to make a video because of all the people that have been asking me about what kind of laptop should I get as a graphic designer. Now, I wanted to make this fair, so I'm doing actual PC laptops and Apple laptop. I'm just gonna do one today, but we're actually gonna compare the two and we're gonna talk about the 7 things that you should be thinking about when buying your laptop. So I actually spent the last week studying, researching, looking into processors, looking into graphics cards, and all these different aspects of laptops. And at the end of the day, just for my own preference and for my own recommendation, I want to highly just encourage you guys to go for the Apple because it's going to be reliable, it's going to be consistent, and it's going to have everything you could possibly need. And I wanted to tell you some things that you really need to consider when purchasing a laptop. Number 1 is the color accuracy. If you're doing graphic design, motion design, video production, web design, you need to make sure that the colors that you're using, whether it's in print or web, are accurate. And how you can know that is by actually getting an IPS color display. Look up the keyword IPS in the descriptions, you'll see it there. But the size and the resolution, anything over 1080p by 1920 is great, but that's again why I love the MacBooks, is because they have the Retina displays, which are beautiful. I would recommend anything from a 4K to a 1080p Retina display. These are going to be the best for you. They're going to be the most accurate, and that's going to be really, really important when choosing the right laptop, is having the right color accurate display. The second thing that you need to be looking for, and this is almost equally as important, is the processor. Nowadays, processors are getting faster and faster and faster. At the very bare minimum, you want to find an i5, but I would highly recommend an i7 or an i9 processor. The key here is cores. The more cores, the merrier. You want to get more cores in your laptop. It's going to be faster, it's going to be more responsive, especially if you're doing any video editing or high-end graphics files that are really, really large, like even photography. You need to make sure that you have a very fast laptop, and having a good processor is the key to that. So anything from a 2.4 gig all the way up to a 4.2, something like that, is going to be your kind of threshold. And this is a really, really important piece that you need to know, is just get a good computer with a good processor. The third thing, and you probably knew this was coming, is your graphics card. I'm going to touch on this a lot in this video. We're going to talk about graphics card. You have the AMD Radeon graphics cards, and then you have the actual Intel graphics cards, which are integrated, and then you have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is really the king of graphics cards. That is going to be my absolute go-to if you're going to get a PC-based laptop. I use my Apple, so I don't really care what's in there, to be honest. I just know it's going to be fast enough for whatever I need. But the NVIDIA graphics cards are really, really good. They're very, very fast, and it's actually going to have what's called hardware acceleration. So thankfully, some of the video editing softwares like Adobe Premiere have this Mercury system inside of it that actually helps, but it's really important that you get a good graphics card that has at least 1 gig to 2 gigs to some of them now I've seen that have even 8 gigs of DDR. Actually, it's dedicated video memory, and that's a really important piece to this, is you want to make sure that you have a really good quality graphics card. And all these laptops I'm going to show you guys today are going to have variations of different graphics cards inside of them. Some of them are integrated, some of them are external, but it's really important to just have something that's going to keep up with all the graphics that you're doing. Number 4 is your hard drive. This is a really important piece, is the hard drive that's in your computer is either going to speed your systems up or it's going to slow you down. Traditional hard drives have moving parts. They have these little discs inside that spin. Because they have moving parts, they are slower. So I want to recommend that you get something with a solid state drive. They're up to 10 times faster than a traditional hard drive, and that's why a lot of computers and a lot of companies nowadays are making computers with solid state drives. They are more expensive, they are more costly, but it's important that your stuff is going to be safe, and it'll be a lot safer and a lot faster to get a hard drive that is a solid state. If you're a graphic designer, you're going to be dealing with a lot of large files, so having to unsync files from Dropbox or from Google Drive is a pain in the butt. So you want to make sure you get enough space to actually be able to hold the basic information that you need quickly on your laptop, but it's really not a ton. If you get a 0.5 terabyte, 500 gig hard drive, or a terabyte, that should be adequate. If you're doing a lot of video, you may want to get like a terabyte or 2 terabyte at the very most, but you don't need a huge amount of space, especially now since a lot of stuff is stored on the cloud, like iCloud or Google Drive or Dropbox. These are really, really big ones to use. And then what I do as well is I actually use my external drives, my solid state external drives, and I grab stuff off and I put them on there as a backup as well. I've talked about this in previous videos, but this is really, really important. Number 5 is your RAM. not like an actual RAM, but the RAM that's in your computer. You may have never heard about this before, but RAM is really important. It's the actual memory within the computer that helps your hardware and everything run. And the lower amount of RAM you have, the slower your computer is going to be. They still sell computers. I couldn't believe it. I was looking and researching. They still sell computers with like 4 gigs of RAM. Like, I think browsers nowadays take almost 4 gigs of RAM sometimes. So you want to make sure you get at least 8, preferably 16. I think we have a computer that has about 64 gigs of RAM, which is a lot, but that's because we're doing a lot of video editing. So make sure you get at least 16 gigs of RAM. At the very bare minimum, get 8 gigs, and you can usually upgrade these things. A lot of the computers that I'm going to show you guys today are upgradable all the way up to 64 gigs of RAM. And number 6 are the features. There's tons of features. Every laptop is different, but some of these laptops are going to have USB 2.0. You don't want a laptop with USB 2.0, you want to go with 3.0, and preferably USB-C. Now I have a 2017, 2018, I believe, maybe even 19, I think it's about an 18 MacBook Pro, and it still has the USB 3.0, so I do not have the USB-C, but a lot of the laptops nowadays are getting made with USB-C, so I really recommend that. You see some of these new phones don't even come with a typical USB, they come with a USB-C. So USB-C is really, really popular, and this is an important feature that you want to try to get in your laptop if you can afford it. One of the next features that you really need to be thinking about is having a backlit keyboard. If you're in low light, or you're working on your laptop while you're in bed, or you're working at it on the go, it's really nice to have that backlit keyboard. That's one of the things that comes stock on the Apple laptops, and it's just something that you should really take into consideration, because it's nice to be able to have your keys lit up and to be able to see rather than just being dark. You might be able to save a couple bucks, but it's really going to make it more difficult for you unless you're just working in the middle of the day on your laptop. But I would really recommend that you get a laptop that has the backlit keyboard. The next thing you need to have is some good audio, especially if you're going to be working with video editing at all. You need to make sure that you can hear the audio, that you get a good quality audio like Dolby or something like that. There's a bunch of different companies out there that make laptops with really good audio, and I'm going to actually share some of these here in a minute, but it's really important that you have that audio set up on your computer. This is a really big deal. Now, number 7, and this is the last one before we jump into the computers, is the style. Some of these laptops are super clunky, super generic looking that you'll see out there. The ones I'm going to show you are actually really nice. I wanted to pick laptops that kind of fit all of the 7 things that I'm talking about today, that looked good, had a decent price, performed great, and were just overall going to serve you at the highest level possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into those laptops. All right, so the first laptop that I'm going to recommend is the HP Envy X360, and it's a 13-inch laptop, 13.3 inches. This is a full HD display. It has the IPS, like I talked about inside of there, which is really, really good. You're going to get some good color accuracy. It's a touchscreen laptop, so it's actually a 2-in-1. So you can actually use a stylus probably. I don't think it'll have the pressure sensitivities, but you're actually going to be able to use it like a tablet, which is really neat. A lot of the laptops are going this direction, and a number of the ones that I'm picking for you guys also are going this direction. As you can see here, this thing is the 11th gen of the i7. So this thing has evolved many, many times over. It's got 8 gigabytes of memory, or RAM, as I was talking about. It has a 512 gigabyte solid state hard drive, pale gold, which is interesting. It must be the color. It's got the backlit keyboard, as I mentioned. It even has a fingerprint reader, Thunderbolt display, which is neat, and Wi-Fi 6, which is the latest Wi-Fi, so you can get some quick speeds on your internet, which is really, really great as well. It does run on Windows 10, and there's some other specs that you can see within here, but I wanted to show you as I scroll down, and you can look at these things here on your computer or on Amazon if you search these computers. As you scroll down, and you'll see, where is it at here? Graphics co-processor. So what's going to be different here is you're going to have some laptops that are going to have integrated processors. So some of these laptops are going to have internal graphics cards, and some of them are going to have external. This one actually has an internal one, and I did a lot of research on the Iris Xe graphics card, and it actually is really good for lightweight gaming, but is also going to work great for graphics. So this is going to be more than adequate for what you need, and this computer here comes in at a whole whopping price of $878 on Amazon. I'm not an affiliate of Amazon in any way. I'm not getting paid for this, but this is a really, really good price. This is something to consider. Now, number 2 is the ASUS, which is who makes a lot of motherboards, the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14. This is a 14-inch, so slightly larger. It is VR ready, which is virtual reality if you don't know what that is. It has the full HD display. It is a gaming laptop. 8 cores. Like, remember I talked about having more cores, and it has the AMD Ryzen 9, which is great. And then it has the Beat i7. I don't know exactly what Beat i7, but I have a feeling it's really, really fast. Has 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte solid state drive, which is amazing. The backlit keyboard. It has the Wi-Fi 6, has the USB-C. Remember we talked about USB-C, and it has the GeForce RTX 2060 graphics card inside there, which is really, 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 really fast, which is awesome. And this one is a little bit more, but it's $1,299, and I really think it's a pretty nice looking computer. It's not as nice as Apple. I'm just probably a little biased at this point, but it's a really nice laptop. And again, if you scroll down, you can see here where it talks about the graphics processor. I think it's a little further. There you go, graphics, NVIDIA. So this is an external NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Max-Q. This is going to be more than adequate. It's a dedicated video card. This is going to be fast enough computer. It'll be great for graphic design, motion design, or web design. Laptop number 3. This is the HP Elite Dragonfly home and business laptop, which is also a 2-in-1. Now it has the lower grade processor inside of it. It only has 4 cores, so about half the amount of power, but it does have 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is great. It has the terabyte solid state drive, the Intel UHD 620, which is nice. It has a 13.3 inch monitor, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than the last one, 1920 by 1080, but you'll notice it doesn't say IPS in here. I don't believe it has the IPS. I think you're going to miss out on that, and it definitely doesn't say anything about Wi-Fi 6. It definitely has Bluetooth, which is great. It has a webcam, which is another feature you should be thinking about, unless you're going to use an external program for your webcam. And then it has a USB hub. So overall, you can pick the different options in here. This laptop runs about $1,800, but I wanted to show you this here. So this one also has an integrated, so you can see it here, card description, an integrated Intel graphics card. This is probably going to be a little bit lower end, but it's still going to keep up with the basic graphics and even a little bit of video editing. I wouldn't do After Effects in this, just Premiere, but this is a good computer. This is going to be something, if you're trying to get in and get a nice 2-in-1 laptop, I would highly recommend this one. All right, number 4, let's jump over to Dell. Dell has been a big player in the computer laptop game for many, many years, and this Dell XPS 15 is a great one. It's a 15.6 inch, just like my MacBook Pro. It has the i7 in it. It's got the 10th generation, so not the 11th generation. 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, which is awesome. The terabyte solid state drive, and it has a 4K UHD display, which is really, really powerful. Has the 500 nit touch NVIDIA GeForce 1650 Ti graphics card, which is fast. It is screaming fast, with 4 gigabytes of dedicated video memory, it looks like here. So this is a really, really nice one. But again, you're going to be here right here at the same pricing as a actual MacBook Pro. I don't see a huge difference between this and the MacBook Pro in terms of the pricing. And overall, I would probably, just for me personally, I would go with the MacBook Pro. I would like this computer. I think it would fit your needs. But if you have this kind of money to spend, why not just get a Mac? Unless you're just sworn enemy against Mac and you don't want to do a Mac computer, I would really recommend this computer because I think it's great. It also has a dedicated graphics card, so an external, it's built into it, but it's dedicated. It's not like built into the motherboard. And it's an NVIDIA GTX 1650 Ti. This is a great one. Highly recommend this laptop. All right, let's get to number 5. Number 5 is an ACER. Believe it or not, I actually started my career as a graphic designer on an ACER until I got out of the car and I dropped it on the ground and cracked the screen. Had to use an external monitor on that thing for like 6 months before I could afford to buy a new one. Trust me, I know what it's like to have struggles and to not be able to afford an expensive computer. My Acer was like bottom of the barrel, lowest level Acer you could get, and I was able to make it work. This Acer here is probably the coolest Acer. If I didn't have a MacBook, I think I would probably go with this one, to be honest. This is the Acer Concept D3 Ezel. Like how they spell Ezel there. It actually is convertible creator laptop. I'll get a little bit more into detail on this, but it's got the Intel i7 as well, GeForce GTX 1650. You'll notice the Max-Q, just like the other one, has a 14-inch full HD screen, has Gorilla Glass, which is going to be awesome from scratches and breaks and things like that. You won't run into the same issues that I had. It's got Pantone validated. This is a graphics person's computer with 100% sRGB, which is awesome. 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of solid state drive, and it has a Wacom pen, which means it will pick up the pressure sensitivities. You can draw on it, and it's super, super neat. What I wanted to show you here and what I wrote down in my notes to go over, as you'll see here, this actually has 6 different positions that you can position this laptop. Check this out. So here we go. You can see it right here. Has laptop, float, share, display, pad, and stand. It's got the color accuracy guaranteed. It's got a lot of the features that you're going to need. Backlight keyboard. It's just a phenomenal computer. Out of all the ones I'm going to show you today on the PC style, if you're a graphic designer, this is what I'm going to tell you to check out first. You can get some faster versions of this. I think they have a faster version. Yeah, it looks like they do. But this one right here is only $1,299. This is probably your best balance. It's got a lot of features. It's got the pen. It's got a lot of the things that you're going to need. So I highly recommend this one. This is the one that I would probably pick out of all of them so far. And we're going to go ahead and jump on to number 6. Number 6 is a Lenovo ThinkPad. This is kind of a little bit more of a clunkier. It doesn't have the same style as some of these other ones that I've showed you. ThinkPad is kind of a more of a workhorse kind of laptop. It's not the coolest looking one, but it actually works really well. This is the P1, the ThinkPad P1 Gen 3 15.6 inch full HD screen. Has the IPS, so it'll get you good clarity, good color matching, anti-glare, Dolby Vision, which is awesome. 500 nits, which is part of the graphics card. It's got the i7, it has 6 cores. So some of these other ones I showed you had 4, which is great. And it's got the NVIDIA Quattro, so this has got an integrated graphics card as well with 32 gigs of RAM. So this is a fast computer, and it has the 1 terabyte solid state drive with Windows 10, and it's also $1,799, which is just a few $100 cheaper than what a MacBook Pro would cost you. And I think they are raising the prices on the MacBook Pro, so this is probably a $300 to $400 difference between the two. But if you're just trying to save a buck, this could be a really great option for you. Now the last one, and I told you I was going to make this the very last one, is the one and only MacBook Pro. Not a lot of computers can hold a candle to the MacBook Pro. They've really designed a beautiful piece of art and a beautiful piece of technology. This is why a lot of graphics people use these. It has an 8-core processor, 16-inch Retina display, which is beautiful, 8 terabyte solid state drive, the AMD Radeon. See, they have good graphics. AMD Radeon Pro 5000M series graphics card, which is super fast, screaming fast, and up to 64 gigabytes of RAM with an incredible sound system. I can tell you personally, I use my audio on my computer and on my iPad Pro all the time. The audio on these things is amazing. You can go deeper and deeper into the specs and learn more about the display. It'll talk about the brightness, 500 nits. It'll talk about all these other things. But these are the computers that I would recommend. If you want a great computer for graphics, this is the master list. I hope this one will give you exactly what you need. I have had a lot of people ask me this, and so I wanted to answer this question. I really love these types of topics, and I want to record more content around computers and technology and some of the things that we're using on a day-to-day basis. So if there's another technology you want to know about, maybe it's lighting, maybe it's cameras, maybe it's audio, whatever that is, let me know, drop a comment. I want to hear from you. I'm just really grateful that you were along on this journey with me. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if this helped you. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. I'm Adrian Boycell, and as always, keep looking up.